Hello and welcome back to more Let's Play Danganronpa. I am the Max Few Trades. In the last part, we were attempted. We were attempted. No, we were how do I phrase this? Good start. Great start to an episode. I could start over. Not going to. Monokuma tried to just straight up kill us. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He has devised a nefarious plot to try and off us because we're apparently a threat to him, and also as Kyoko, it's a big problem for him in general. So, you know, he tried to kill us, but then Alter Ego swooped in, who apparently isn't dead, saved us, dropped us into a trash pile, and that was certainly something that happened, and we were gonna die, but then Kyoko showed up again. She had trash on her head. It was pretty funny, and I guess now, hopefully, she has a plan on how to get out, or we're going to be in a real problem here. Some cannibalistic actions will likely have to take place, and this game is dark enough without that noise. So let's just go ahead. The Ultimate Despair, a group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. Very messed up. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now, we have to get out of this horrible place. It is very smelly and full of a lot of rusted materials. Could get tetanus up in here. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. How unintentionally meta. Alright, so do you have a plan? Do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. Oh, I guess it's a multi-key, not just a singular key. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Correct. Then we should be able to use it on that door. Then let's use it on the door and get ourselves out of here. It makes sense. Hey, Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. And shock and awe, it's the one door it can't open. Kyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design, slid into the keyhole, and then ka-click. Oh, well, hot damn, it worked.
Indeed.
Freedom! And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Take that, garbage pit. I've had enough of your nonsense. Finally! We were finally free. Well, in one sense, but we're still... Yeah, but there... Yeah, no, I mean, we're free of a garbage pit, but I imagine we're probably still gonna be in the school when we get out of here. Because the real fight had just begun. That's no good. Oh, dang. Well, that seems conclusive. I think this might be endgame. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. Flattering angle. Thanks for that, game. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. That sounds like a challenge. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Good job, Kyoko. Maybe talking will keep my mind off of it. So, Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said that you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long? Ever since I can remember. Which, as previously established, is not much. I assume she got her memory back, but you did have amnesia. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always been seen in that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Well, I would assume. Otherwise, I imagine somebody would have heard of her. Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Oh. But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So,
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. I feel like you might be taking this a few steps ahead of what's actually expected of a detective. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational, but it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Y'all never seemed like a real prideful type of gal, if I'm being honest, but okay. So that explains. Oh. Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family. Fancy.
However,
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. To what degree? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. A true detective, a true Kirigiri detective wouldn't go to a school? That's weird. Okay, but the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, is because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
what?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You'd have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There's something I want to say to him, though. What?
I...
No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. I mean, I still am, but you know, even more comparatively. So I don't remember myself. I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember myself. Sorry, that inflections. But apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However,
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. Wow, what a scumbag. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. Yeah, I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me, because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. Scathing. I take pride in my family name. Which, I guess, means you're forced to uphold literally everything that your family's valued up to the past. I don't know if I agree with that. It's like, oh, well, my entire family was a line of detectives, so I have to be a detective, and my dad didn't want to be a detective, so that means he is a scumbag. I don't know, I don't really kind of... I think you might be taking tradition a little bit too seriously. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I mean, I guess if you like doing it, I mean, that whatever, it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like one should forge their own path. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. I assumed it was cold and steely, as is the norm. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. It's kind of hard to tell. There's no voice acting right now. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However,
But there's one thing. One thing that I can never forgive. Really?
so...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However,
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me, even to this day. Ah, you have a strong desire to not be pitied. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow by, I guess, literally standing in it.
correct.
Okay. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever. I feel like going out of your way to find him in order to do all that just reconnects everything back together. I'm pretty sure the line was severed when he abandoned you. Going out of your way to find him and say, yeah, by the way, I hate your face, and then leaving, that seems entirely unnecessary and somewhat counterintuitive to your goals. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family just cut him off like that? Okay, see now, Makoto, you're going in the opposite direction. Just because you're family, I've talked about this in at least Persona. I don't know if I ever brought it up ever in any other regards, but...
Wrong.
Yeah, like that. Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul?
Hey.
No. Is blood really enough to call someone family? Absolutely not! Okay. This is weird. Like, I agree with Kyoko on some points, but she's going too far on a few. And I agree with Makoto on a few things, but he's also going too far. It's a half and half. Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. Smooth as silk, Makoto. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence, as you do. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. The tippity-tap. I sure hope that's openable. Looks like this is it. On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. Yay!
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. Well, then where did you come in from? Exactly. That's what I want to know. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, that's confusing. Okay, so you unlocked the hatch, which means couldn't you have just gone down the ladder and then like opened the locked door from the other side? Did you really have to jump down a trash chute? I guess it was faster? Well, here goes nothing. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. And thankfully for the story, it opened. Otherwise, we'd be kind of doomed. The hatch opened with ease, and so... Ta-da! Looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. Can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Question! How precisely is Monokuma going to react to all of this? Now he tried to kill us and it didn't work. I don't think he won't be happy about seeing us. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Alright. Now what do we do? So, yeah, okay, there we go. I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too, you helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Well, yeah, of course.
So then,
And let's just get a concrete answer.
in other words,
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Ha! Direct.
however,
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. Or it's not like we can run away. Especially what with all the dang cameras and everything. I feel like that's something that might, you know, make it a little bit difficult. I suppose we could cardboard box Makoto up, but I'm pretty sure there's a surveillance camera in this room. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. Yeah, okay, there you go. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. Yeah, you said that before. Yeah, you said something like that before. What you talking about?
so
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where that mastermind let their guard down. There was? Yeah, you said something about that.
right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this, but we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Monokuma should be in literally every room inside the entire building. So I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. Shouldn't we just be able to say, can't we just summon Monokuma, not unlike that of the Kool-Aid Man? I mean, on multiple occasions, we pretty much went, "Hey, Monokuma!" And he was all like, "Yo, I'm here!" And obnoxious. Like, do we really have to go to a dedicated area to find him? Again, I feel like that's a tad bit unnecessary. He does seem to have the magical ability to just kind of poof wherever he so chooses, but alright, fine. Far be it from me to start asking questions this late into the game. At least,
Well now.
at least not any new questions. Howdy dowdy! Kyoko, I don't mind so much. But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Really, I thought there'd be a lot more guns and knives and, rotary drills. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do? Dang! Calling the bear out. If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again, and this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko! Do whatever you feel you have to. You gotta stop with the flip-flop and the flip-and-the-flops, okay? Be more concreted!
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
no.
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? I lose. You, explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up the last class trial yourself, right? Or the latest, sorry. I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
In other words...
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? What are you talking about?
However...
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The result of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting, because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that. Kind of a larger scale version of what happened to Byakuya.
Right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However...
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. My goodness. An entity that would throw... that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter Ego. You never imagined the possibility of being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
Am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Dang, we are going full Phoenix Wright. Makoto didn't kill Mukuru. Mukuru. I'm never gonna get names right, I'm sorry. You did.
Listen to me.
So, executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose. You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
Well...
No, I can't. Ah! Don't just say it like that! What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence.
That doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there's only one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because...
Well, to be fair, she, is. If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
However...
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts. Look at my face. Look how hopeful I am. Picture of joy and... It's like a beacon. Woo, too bright. And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
Indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Eh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. Ooh, dang, you're actually causing some damage here. If you want to earn our despair fair and
that's
square,
what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice before I start Dr. Seuss rhyming all up in here. There was a rhyme, so I was rolling with it. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Murokuru's trial all over again. Mukuro. Come on, brain, we got this. Mukuru? What the? Sounds like a Pokemon. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown.
One final battle.
Final battle between hope and despair.
See, this game isn't designed to be narrated. So I don't know when voice acting is going to happen. But okay. Kind of took the wind out of the dramatic, sentence there. Terribly sorry. Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? Oh, dang, this is the last trial. A final trial. One last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuru's killer, of the mastermind themselves. Mukuru. Brr. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Which is probably why he's about to accept. Ah, well, hot damn. It worked.
Barrett!
Barry?
What's wrong?
Well, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. I will now translate the bear jokes into not bear jokes, for your convenience. Now, what you suggested might be possible. It would certainly make one ham-dinger of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I am prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim victory? Let's have one final, really nasty showdown. He agreed! Then we still have a shot at this. Hot dang!
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
Guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. The mysteries? That's right, every last mystery that's been going around the school. If you can do that, then that'll be enough to... Wow, okay, that one's actually a pretty clever one. Qualify as a victory for you.
It's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well good. Then let's bear it all. Even I can't translate all of this. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school, then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we'll all face execution, right? I can hardly contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal, whatever, their own despair? We're gonna cause you to feel pretty bad about yourself. I honestly can't believe how this all turned out.
Hey.
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
Hey.
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but if I gotta repeat it, everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuru is no exception to that. Mukuru's trial is no exception. That's part of the regulations, which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuru... It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay. Enough puns. Oh, good, thank you. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only person to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd you go quiet all of a sudden? I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would ya? Why so mad? He's only game. He seems emotionally unstable. Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. Just dang. You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair because that word is really losing its meaning. Lots of laughing.
Hey.
Come on, Makoto. Let's go. Anything to stop this horrible music. And the laughing. Both terrible. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as he walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. I have to fight every urge in my body to not pronounce it Gaim. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. That's pretty dope. Not gonna lie. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt, as she is some kind of crazy wordsmith. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
However,
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. This is a true thing. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
so
They had no choice but to accept.
because
It's all because of that one moment that the mastermind let down their guard. Yeah, you keep saying that. Explanations. Okay, so when did they do that?
so
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the mastermind said? They said they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yes, they definitely said that.
listen.
And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However,
And yet, somehow, the mastermind was able to do it.
in other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
so
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
it would seem
Shining, shimmering, splendid, the mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other, even if that does, mean a whole lot of coercion. And all of the rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
in other words,
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey,
The outside world is a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? The certain concept. You're talking about hope, right? I mean, it's called Hope's Peak, and we haven't been using the word hope or despair enough. Gotta keep using them.
That's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the Mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal, is the ultimate despair. But they want to prove that despair is better than hope. But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right. It is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's almost like we're dealing with a complete and total psychopath. A highly functioning one, mind you, but still. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet, that same motivation is what led to this Mastermind revealing their weakness.
In other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast the killing game to the world. The Mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. Reading problems. If the Mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
Oh yeah, I mean, at the beginning, it's like, all right, you gotta kill each other in order to get out of here. There would just, there'd just be a one and done, quickly compacted battle. One left standing. At least, that's how those who are watching this would have seen it, as a game. And that's why the Mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
indeed.
That is precisely the reason. Yeah, it's like the host of a reality show being a contestant. It just don't work that way. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Juko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
You see, now I'm suspicious. I'll keep it to myself until I have more concrete proof. But they just so casually... okay. So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer. They made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the Mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed to live TV to the entire outside world, the Mastermind had to accept your suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they had to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words,
And I ain't talking about Cell. It would only do the Mastermind harm to have it shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? You were still able to get the Mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Told you it was the right thing to do. I feel smart. Still, I can't believe how much of that Mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet. But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least. I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Well, yeah, obviously, it makes sense. But you seem to lack the ability to turn that off. Plus, if I'd shown my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However,
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We gotta win this time.
correct.
Or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. And that would be really disappointing. And one hell of an anticlimax for the ending. If we can't defeat the Mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. Oh yeah, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the Mastermind. Work together with everyone?
however,
Is that really possible?
anyway,
Anyway, let's just ignore that entirely. Whatever. Right now we have to go find the
Shall we
others.
go?
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Yeah, I guess. Gee, I wonder what room they could all possibly be hanging out in. Perhaps it'll be in the one room that they're always in, regardless of, any actual, contextual information. Like, they're always in the freaking cafeteria. That's where everybody hangs out. That's where the cool kids go. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And in that case, it's the freaking cafeteria, man. And suddenly, we were greeted with Monokuma again. And he appears to, be having some trouble. You again. Is he broken? I suppose his emotional instability reached its limits. Part of me wonders if that's some kind of code. Jeez, what the heck?
However,
I wonder what that was all about. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Ah! Oh, hey, how's it going?
Makoto?
I is a ghost.
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto.
Last I checked,
You survived?
I am a freaking beast.
Jeez, you're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I am immune to radiation. Good powers.
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
I don't know. No one ever asked Bruce Willis that. And that ended up being a plot twist, so I don't know. Ghosts don't know. Everyone was there. All my friends who had struggled together and survived. Let's be perfectly honest with this, Makoto. Hina is our friend. We kind of grudgingly accept the other three, at best. What a weenie.
What?
Wait, what's that smell?
What the heck?
Yeah, man, that seriously stinks. It's Makoto. He smells like a wet dog. Oh, yeah. I kind of was wallowing in a garbage pit for a full day. And any heartwarming moments that were there are now gone. Fun times. All right, let's talk to these fools.
Yo,
Makoto, what was it like hanging out in the spirit world? I didn't go to the spirit world.
you know?
Did you get to talk to her? Oh. Miss Cleo. Dude, There's nobody playing this game who's gonna get that reference. Miss Cleo stopped being relevant at a bare minimum of like 2002. No, I didn't talk to her. I mean, I didn't go to the spirit world. I mean, who the heck is Miss Cleo? Yeah, see, Makoto doesn't get it. For those who don't know, Miss Cleo was essentially a con artist who had like late night infomercials, and I'm pretty sure she faked being Jamaican. She was like a Jamaican spirit medium, and she was all like, "Call me now, my bagels, and I will talk to the dead for you." And you know, eventually it all kind of fell out apart from underneath her because you know, scams typically tend to get lawsuits involved, and yeah. Anyway, that's basically it. If you want to know more information, just Google it. I'm sure you can find some YouTube videos about it. I still can't believe you survived. And I still can't believe you're so pompous. Yeah, me either. Do you realize why it is you escaped execution? The help of a large assortment of people and a lot of really blind luck? It was alter ego. Well, primarily. He saved my life.
That's right.
Not too many people can say they had their life saved by a computer program. Imagine it was a learning experience for you. That's one way of saying it, yeah. What's up, Hina? So what have you been doing while I was gone? Well, we figured that since the trial was over, we'd have access to new places again. And? No dice! All the rooms that were locked before were still locked. And there weren't any new areas. Makes sense, there aren't any new floors or anything. Then where can we go to find new clues? I don't want to talk to you, so I'm not going to talk to you. And there we go. Okay, Kyoko, what's the haps?
Makoto.
There's no time to indulge in an extended happy reunion. Is that what this is? Could have fooled me. We need to explain to everyone what happened with Monokuma.
Yes.
Explain? Explain what? Oh, you guys are gonna freaking love this. Alright, so basically we've enacted some kind of gambit. Basically we need to solve all of the mysteries of the school or we all die. Fun times. Is it okay if you're here? What if the mastermind catches you? That's related to what I have to tell you all. I need to all tell you about the last class trial. Last class trial?
In other words,
We're going to redo Makuro's trial.
Huh?
What? Seriously?
How about that?
What's the point of redoing it? Makoto killed her, right? Y'all are stupid. No, I didn't do it. Like I keep telling you.
wrong.
Makoto isn't the killer. And of course, it's not me or any of you. Then who is it?
I see.
What she's saying is, it was all the work of the mastermind. But you're saying the mastermind killed Mukuro?
That's right.
It was all an elaborate trap, contrived? Shouldn't conceive be the word, whatever. By the mastermind, whatever, doesn't matter. Makoto spotted the trap in time and did what he had to do to stop it.
However,
But his decision meant that he would be the one to die.
What did you say?
You spotted the trap, did you, Makoto? Indeed I did. You make it sound like it was easy, I just, you know.
However,
But executing Makoto, who wasn't the Blackened, is a clear violation of the school regulations. The rules state that only the Blackened is to be executed. The mastermind broke their own rules. Which is why I went and negotiated with them to have the trial one more time.
Huh?
And the mastermind agreed. Does that mean they really did break the rules? They had no choice but to agree. You used the TV broadcast to gain the leverage you needed, didn't you?
correct.
Very observant of you. Frickin' Kaiba. I recall what you said at the end of the last trial. When you said now it's the mastermind that's ensnared. That's what you were referring to.
Don't be mean.
I'm in the dark! For anyone who doesn't understand, you can ask Kyoko to explain it again later. So, knowing all this, what do we do?
About that.
It's about who killed Mukuro, right? So, our job is to expose the mastermind. But there's more to it than that, correct? Yeah. For us to win this time, we have to solve every last mystery surrounding the school. Every last mystery? But you've been looking around all this time and we still don't know anything, right? Bits and pieces here and there. Not a lot, but you know.
Anyway,
You probably guessed already, but if we lose this time, everyone dies. Everyone! Who said you could agree to those terms without talking to the rest of us? Okay, that's enough of that. I, meanwhile, want to get out of here as soon as humanly possible. Preferably on the mortal, plane, but if a ghost, if I gotta do it as a ghost, then that's what's happening.
anyway,
At this point, the only way for us to survive is to unravel the truth. In other words, one decisive final battle. A rather interesting development, I'd say. But figuring out who the mastermind is and how they killed Mukuro and all the school's mysteries? It's a pretty tall friggin' order. I think they call that a venti or whatever. Even though I'm pretty sure a lot of those words don't make actual sense when you translate them. Either way, maybe this time the trial is different. We know who our enemy now is. So, if we work together, and reason we can't work together in a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Thank you, I'm not so sure about that. I can't agree with the idea of working together. Of course you can't, because nothing is ever easy in this sad, twisted world of ours. Why? I mean, working together with everyone seems like the most obvious way to solve all the mysteries.
indeed.
That's what I thought too at first. Until Monokuma gave us that little hint of his. Hint? It's a very polarizing approach, I know. I'm sure I told you all this already. This killing game began with 16 participants, all the high school students. So basically what you're saying is, okay, so let's take it at 100% face value. The mastermind is one of the 16 students. Gotcha. Okay, fine. Then I've got some theories on that, but I need more evidence before I, instead of looking like an idiot. We'll see. Monokuma said that, did he? And Kyoko's opinion is perfectly reasonable. But why?
So in other
If the mastermind really is the one who killed Mukuro, as Kyoko says, then the mastermind would have to have set foot in this school, right? Monokuma could probably murder Mukuro, but there's no way he could have disguised the scene like that.
in other words,
But according to Monokuma, the only people who have set foot in Hope's Peak are the 16 students who have been taking part in the killing game. So yeah, I guess, technically, one of these people. There were 15 of us in the main hall at the very beginning. Add in Mukuro and you get 16. Of course, we very, very carefully inspected a great total of those corpses. So, that kind of makes things difficult. So the mastermind would have to be one of them.
that's right.
And of those 16 people we started out with, the only ones still alive are the people standing right here. As far as we know! I'm not ruling out the possibility that someone we think is dead isn't dead. It just, I don't know. That's the kind of plot twist this game needs. Are the people, okay, need I continue, or do you get it now? You're saying the mastermind is one of us.
No way!
Well, not anybody currently inside this room. You can't be serious. We can't say for sure that's true yet. Monokuma might have just said all that to confuse us. That's certainly a possibility, but only one among many. Like 7 different things that could be the truth. The mastermind being one of us is also a possibility. And that is one possibility we can't ignore. Yeah, I mean, they're an ultimate, right? The ultimate despair, so they must be a high schooler. You can't say it's not possible. If one of us was the mastermind, they'd have to be controlling Monokuma somehow, right? But did you ever see anyone acting suspicious anytime Monokuma was active?
Well,
Maybe they snuck off and controlled him in secret.
but
I don't care how sneaky you are. We would have noticed someone sneaking off that many times.
I'm right.
Then maybe Monokuma was on autopilot. Maybe they loaded up all the dialogue and actions beforehand. In that case, there's no way we could have had all those back and forth conversations with us. Well, it wouldn't be entirely impossible if they directed the flow of the conversation. Well, maybe, but still. Please let that be the last time I have to hear that.
This is a school announcement.
Okay.
You've all probably figured this out by now, but at this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode.
Dang, son.
So, in the name of fairness, I will unlock every room in the school.
Oh, dang. Wow, you actually are giving us a chance at figuring this all out. That's really dumb of you. Okay.
Look wherever you want. Solve the mystery in whatever way you see fit. Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
Okay. No more laughs, that's annoying. How very How dare you use a word I don't know? Gonna have to Google that when this is done. I have him to unlock all the rooms.
That's fine.
The time for talk is done! Have at you! Now we need to begin our investigation. I was planning on working alone from the beginning anyway.
In the name of my family.
At this point, I can rely only on myself, on the Togami blood flowing through my veins. Gross, dude. I have no time to worry about the rest of you. Each of you must uphold your responsibility. Well then. After making his final statement, Byakuya left the dining hall. Not listening to anything you gotta say. Do you blame him? And she's gone. Thank you. With that, she trudged on out. And now she's gone. And you're gonna go off by yourself, right, Kyoko?
Indeed.
That's right. It just leaves Makoto, Hina, and me. I'm gonna be hanging with the B squad. Except probably not.
You know?
In that case, I'm gonna go by myself too.
Just a second.
What? How come?
How about that?
Just wait and see. I'm gonna use my totally awesome spirit power to figure out the mastermind's identity. Dude, if you could have done that, you would have by now. Good luck with that. Everyone's really going off by themselves? What about you, Hina? I guess I'll do the same thing.
But
I mean, it's not that I don't trust everyone, you know? Because you're made out of freaking sugar cubes and stuffed animals, too good, too pure for this world. But up till now, I haven't really been all that useful. I just depended on Sakura and everyone else. You're not useless. If you hadn't been here, I would have died. Damn, son. That's really nice of you to say. But still, I know I've mostly been totally useless.
okay.
So I figure, at least here at the end, maybe I can find something that'll help us get out of here. So I'm gonna go off and do it all on my own. Godspeed, you crazy girl. Hina was in surprisingly high spirits as she ran out of the hall. And once again, I'm left alone with Captain Purple Hair. How it be? So, you're gonna go off on your own too, right, Kyoko?
However,
Well, don't misunderstand. Just because we're going to do our searches separately doesn't mean we can't still work together. Yay! Friendship, technically, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
so
That goes for all of us. Oh. Doing our own investigating doesn't mean we can't work together in the end. I should just see it as us splitting up to cover more ground. And then we can get back together and share what we found. Yeah, that's right!
so then,
Well, I'd better get going. I have an endless list of things I need to check.
correct.
Monokuma said all the doors in the school had been unlocked, right? So we should be able to investigate every nook and cranny, and might even be able to go to Nook's cranny. Buy ourselves some wallpaper! We can't visit all the places we couldn't go before.
Makoto.
Or we can. I don't know if I said can't or can't. Whatever. The point is, it's good. No matter what it takes, we have to uncover the truth. By any means necessary. With that, Kyoko was gone, leaving only me. I don't have time to waste either. I have to begin my search. I still can't believe the mastermind might be one of us. So that's what I have to prove. I'll prove that the mastermind isn't one of us. Yes, it makes sense. I'll expose the mastermind's true identity and solve the mystery of this school. And then we can all escape together. Friendship, yay! I guess I'll start by taking another look at well, let's look at the Monokuma file about that dead lady. I remember all this. I feel like none of this information is really going to be helpful. We already kind of figured out a lot of that. Once we find out who killed Mukuro Ikosaba, then we'll know who the mastermind is. So, where should I start my investigation to figure out who killed her? I guess I should start with the rooms that were locked up until now. the headmaster's room, the bio lab, and the door in the stage center with Monokuma's face on it. Oh, and the second floor on the dorms where the gate was down before. That should be open now, right? After that, I'll have to double check the areas that are connected to the murder, which means the garden and the Hojo Dojo. Alright, time to get started. Okay. I was unaware there was a second floor to the dorms. So I guess I'm probably gonna go and check that out now. Vamonos!